started this channel on January 20th of this year, 2025. 2 weeks into starting this channel, I already had my first strike. The reason why I got that strike is because I said that Elonia Muskrat admitting to doing something to the machines and changing the outcome of what happened in November. A few months later, the Economic Times has come out with an article discussing a lawsuit that Smart Legislation is having with the Rockland Board of Elections up there in Rockland, New York. And the findings of this article, scathing. Let me break this down. Pro V&V is a federally accredited company that certifies election results in over 40 counties in the United States. Millions upon millions of votes are certified through this company. Now, in early 2024, this company enacted an update to their voting machines. There was actually a series of updates, which included new ballot scanners, printer reconfigurations, firmware upgrades, and a new electionware reporting system. Now, these were major upgrades, but they classified them as de minimis, which is usually reserved for insignificant changes, small bugs that usually go unnoticed. They did this to bypass public scrutiny and to avoid full-scale testing. According to the article, this allowed them to make these major changes without having to answer to any oversight by a third party. Complaints about changes to votes started almost immediately in Rockland, New York, which sparked a lawsuit. Smart Elections is claiming that the changes by these suspicious updates sparked missing votes or miscounted votes and statistical anomalies, which suggest that the votes were tampered with. For example, 9 voters would say that they voted for a specific candidate, but only 5 votes were counted towards that candidate. The reports also say that in heavily Democratic areas, Kamala Harris's name was completely left off the ballot. So while the Democrats in those areas had high numbers of votes, Kamala Harris had 0 votes for those areas, which is a mathematical anomaly given that they are Democratic areas and the Democrats in those areas got a high number of votes. It is also a mathematical anomaly that Taco Bone Spurs got 750,000 votes more than the votes for the Republicans in the Senate. So by this realization, there were a ton of split tickets, which is something that a lot of people had been saying before. The House and Congress came out to be incredibly close, but the presidency, in electoral terms, was a blowout. This is another thing they are calling a mathematical anomaly. Now, Pro V&V has gone dark since these accusations have been levied in court. They have changed a lot about their website, only leaving a number and a generic email for you to contact them. They are also not making any comments or statements about these accusations. So in Rockland, New York specifically, they are suing. In May of 2025, a judge ruled that Smart Legislation's questions about the election and about these updates that were secretly done by Pro V&V are credible. So this judge is allowing this lawsuit to go forward. There will be a hearing in the fall of this year. Now, mind you, even if Smart Legislation wins this lawsuit, it will not overturn the results of the 2024 election. The reason why is because our Congress certified the election results for 47. If they find that there were irregularities with these elections, it won't end 47's presidency, but what it can do is spark investigations and probes into other states, as well as federal criminal inquiries into the people that are responsible for what happened. People can go to jail for what happened if it is proven in court that there was effery afoot. Now, the interesting thing is, Elonia Muskrat said in an interview, either during the election or after it, that, quote, anything can be hacked. 47 was saying after the election, I believe it was during his acceptance speech when Elonia Muskrat did the salute that we all know what it was. In his introduction to Elonia Muskrat, I believe it was the same speech. It may not have been the same speech. Put down in the comments whether it was or not. He did praise Elonia Muskrat's knowledge of voting machines and how he did something with the machines and we won Pennsylvania. I'm paraphrasing, but it was something like that. And then couple that with the emotional men fighting last week and Elonia Muskrat saying, without me, you wouldn't have won this election. So they have been saying a lot of stuff throughout this whole process that makes a little bit more sense in context when you look at the details of this case. We'll have to watch this space and see if anything comes of it. It's going to be interesting to see if Taco Bone Spurs is able to be held accountable if these investigations show that something nefarious did happen. Because if it did, he can't be protected by presidential immunity because he wasn't the president when this happened. But then there is also the statute of limitations. How does that work? There have been no formal charges, of course, but the crime was allegedly done in 2024. Is that when the statute of limitations starts? There's a lot going into this case, so let's watch this space.